fans chanting? They were chanting, "You can shove your NFTs up your ass." That might actually be the first time fans have chanted about NFTs in a football game.
Why they so full of the? Why they so full of the? Say it with me. Cap.
I graduated college only like 4 years ago, basically went into engineering, and along that route found out about NFTs. I went fully in on it and basically started turning my days into just like 20 hours of like Twitter, OpenSea. Around the beginning of the year, there was a dinner. At that dinner, I think a lot of ideas were thrown around on like what would be cool for people in the space to be doing. And the next morning I got that text like, "Hey, do you want to buy a football club?" I immediately said yes, not even asking how much money was needed or what was happening. Which was like, I'm in. This is not a financial investment to me. This is just something that like is so ingrained in like my blood. When we found Crawley, it was this like really good balance of, there's a lot of history, right? The team's from 1896. They have a very passionate fan base. It's a smaller town. And for us to be able to be like, all right, like we're kind of underdogs in the financial and art world, coming from NFTs and crypto, where everybody's kind of written us off, it almost makes sense from like a story narrative too. Let alone also like we saw the potential. They performed well. They finished 12th the previous season. And we thought with a lot of care and nurturing to the infrastructure of the club, not only players and staff, but also to the conditions that the players are training and getting ready for games in, that we could potentially take this to a League One team in the first or second season. It all kind of just set up really well. Very strong pushback immediately. You know, fans saying, "Oh, why us? You know, it had to be our club. Why couldn't it be somebody else's club?" And for a lot of that to be prefaced on like crypto and being American, and the immediate response be, we don't want you." Biggest change has been people have been like, all right, you do care. You do understand the sport a bit. You get it. Welcome. Now perform. At the end of the day, a football fan will care about one thing and one thing only. Are you getting 3 points on Saturday? We don't want to be seen as like the traditional owner. We're not that. This is not a investment financially from the perspective of like, okay, we're here to just get our money back. And once we are, then it's a profit center. This is like a community. This is part of our DNA now. So if you are crypto native and you do want to engage in voting and have a say in the team, you can, right? The NFT exists. But if you're a traditional football fan, you just want to come to the game and just watch on TV, you also can. There's no barrier there. The core of Web3 and NFTs, and this kind of plays into that idea of sitting in the stands and being active in the community and engaging with them. Fans have lightened up to the fact of, okay, NFTs aren't this dangerous, terrible thing. I'll get questions almost every single day, and their question isn't about football. Not only are the fans, even the players. I'll walk into training and we'll be sitting down for lunch, and a player will be like, "Hey man, I bought this. What do you think?" And I think that's what takes us from having, you know, tens of thousands of fans into millions of fans over the next 2 or 3 years. Come at this through the lens of let's be as different and unique of a football organization as possible. That doesn't only mean, hey, we're going to integrate Web3 over many years and redefine what it means to be a fan, but also like, what does that look like on the apparel side? What does that look on the digital identity side? We do have those connections to Adidas through prior engagements through the ownership group. It made perfect sense for us to partner. They're very keen and aggressive on Web3. For the Crawley Squiggle, you know, it's such a cornerstone in the NFT art world that it made sense to have that piece on the front. Decade from now, we'll look back and be like, that was one of the most iconic jerseys of all time. And I think it will be a collectible, not only for Crawley Town, but in football in general. Our agenda for integrating Web3 into this means is that fans do have a say through voting ability. So they do currently, we asked like, what position do we sign our next player at? Literally, once that vote came in, we turned around and that week spent a couple of days looking for the best midfielder we could find and signed one. Also, owning that NFT gets you physical items you can claim for a jersey, a hat, as well as a scarf. We're playing with a bunch of different ideas that range from being like the coach for a day, like during training, to having access to like celebrity engagement. We want to be sustainable as possible and not just say, all right, well, we're an NFT club now, making sure that the people that have been coming to games for the last 30 years still also have a say is very important. My prediction over the next 5 years is that performing at the highest level in League One, pushing to that championship league. I think the bigger trend will be when like Arsenal and Chelsea and Liverpool, they've done their socios tokens, but when they look at what Crawley's doing, and when Crawley has a 5x operating budget of every other team in League 2 or League 1, and we're not raising more money, and it's all fueled through fans and this digital marketplace and NFTs, and we're doing it in a sustainable, thoughtful way, it will really force all those other teams to sit back and be like, all right, we have to do this. We have to do it in a thoughtful way. What does that look like? And let's figure it out. You're gonna certainly see more NFTs in English football.